The goat. I mean, if you want to call me the goat, that's perfectly fine. Nah.
Eating a bunch of grass.
Well, speak of grass, welcome to Beyond the Buzzer. We're live here on Facebook Live, I-95 Sports, which is Blackjack TV and Zingo Television, YouTube, and everywhere here to sound my voice. I'm your host, Dave Thompson, checking with you tonight. Hey, guess what? We even have the countdown sites. That means no way of showing Derek Jeter on the show tonight.
I knew you was going to do that. Was it worth dissing Warren Moon and Joe Montana and so many other greats that are on the countdown for you to get your satisfaction about Derek Jeter? I know you're going to say yes because you're a hater like that.
Listen, the only thing about it besides it was worse than Derek Jeter was the fact that you had Don Mattingly and Michael Jordan, which is the GOAT, at the same number.
I mean,
I told you those are my goats.
Well, I'm sorry.
And that's why number 2 isn't Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan wasn't going by number 2, sir. Okay, all right. And to be honest with you, if I did choose a number 2, it wouldn't have been Derek Jeter. One of my favorite number 2s is actually Brian Leach of the New York Rangers. So there you go.
I mean, if you're going to go hockey, damn, okay. I mean, I'm not going to diss hockey. I like hockey.
I grew up a Red Wings and Rangers fan until we got the Hurricanes. So, but for the next hour plus or so, myself and the man to the right of me, the student of the game himself, Mr. Kyle Nash, both of the 3pointconversion.com, are going to bring you the best, the latest, and the brightest when it comes to all forms of sports. Mr. Nash, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, sports, bia. What?
Listen, it's been a great week in sports. I mean, we haven't seen you guys in over weeks, so let's catch you back up and everything. You know who's not having a great week? Philadelphia Eagle fans.
So that's going to be the lead. Okay, you could have gone a lot of directions. We can start with Philadelphia.
Listen, we've bagged on the Houston Texans enough to start on the shows. You know what? Let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles. In the span of literally since the season ended, the Philadelphia Eagles had a power struggle. For those who are not paying attention, sorry, Eagle fans, I'm going to bring it up to you. But guess what? It is what it is. And if you have something to say, you want to contribute to the show, also, if you're on any of the social media channels, please comment, like, share, tag, and also leave comments below, and Kyle and I will go over everything. Also, big shout out, before we continue into Carson Wentz, big shout out to our good friends at Valor, as you see over the top of my left-hand shoulder, which is at its.valor.us for all things marketing, commercials, music, and gifts. Also, our good friends at Mentality Barbershop, 2611 North Pine Hills Road in Orlando, Florida. Check out Corey, Dio, the entire crew over there, and get the best haircut in Orlando. All right, so now we paid the bills and got that out the way, let's talk about Carson Wentz. Well, Eagles fans, guess what? You got your dream. In a span of literally 3 months, a 2-month period, Kyle, it was a power struggle between Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz. Who was going to be the power struggle? Well, Doug Peterson gets fired, and everyone realized that, hey, Carson Wentz, they hired the guy from the Indianapolis Colts to be the offensive coordinator. They traded Carson Wentz anyway. Now, Kyle, the only winner here is General Manager Howie Roseman. And you know what? He didn't win either, Kyle. Carson Wentz was traded today from the Philadelphia Eagles to Indianapolis Colts for the equivalent of a Wawa cup of coffee, a glazed donut from Wawa, and a potential gift card.
Well, I was about to say, it is conditional. If he does play 75% of the snaps, they also get a pack of Skittles.
Listen, that's what I said. The gift card might come into effect.
Right, exactly.
So Carson Wentz was traded for a 3rd-round pick this year and a conditional 2022 second-round pick that turned into a 1st-round pick under 2 conditions. Either one, Carson Wentz has to pay 75% of the snaps for Indianapolis, or B, the Colts make the playoffs and Wentz plays 70% of the snaps. Those are the only 2 provisions to allow Carson Wentz to that pick to be a 1st-round pick. On top of the Eagles basically giving Carson Wentz away, they are now eating the biggest, and Kyle, I mean the biggest, salary cap blunder hole in the history of the NFL, because that roster bonus is $34 million that holds against the Eagles cap. AKA, you can't use that money to get anything else, and you're married to Carson Wentz in that contract for another year, even though the Colts are picking up the rest of his contract. Kyle, when this news broke to you today, what were your thoughts, and were you laughing?
I was laughing at how low a price the Indianapolis Colts managed to land Carson Wentz for. Listen, from their perspective, I absolutely love the deal. And I know there are going to maybe people who question it. But to be honest, with all the quarterback play that's out there, I mean, hell, if I said to you that Matt Stafford was going to go for as many draft picks as he did in that LA Detroit trade, you wouldn't have believed me. Hell, I wouldn't have believed me. Okay. Mm-hmm. But in light of the fact that they waited for a guy who, in my opinion, has the opportunity, whose ceiling is to be a better quarterback than Matt Stafford, to basically pay essentially half, air quotes, as much in draft picks, while also being able to secure a flexibility aspect in the fact of Carson Wentz's recent, how you say, injury woes, is fantastic work. And at the end of the day, if it doesn't go well, they have other options. I mean, I'm not sure today if they're going to go for Jacoby Brissett, if he's still on the roster or not. But if he is, if Wentz fails, they'll throw in Brissett and may the force be with them. I mean, it could be an opportunity should Wentz get hurt. Or maybe they're taking one out of the page. You know, you as a good old Atlanta fan knows that Michael Vick at a certain point wasn't finishing the season, and Matt Schaub was in there to clean up the mess. If they have the opportunity to have Brissett or somebody in there as a Matt Schaub type to come in and give Wentz his few games off for him to bounce back in, that'd be great. Moreover, there are two things for Carson Wentz, and I know the attitude is right now that Carson Wentz is a sorry quarterback, is a bad quarterback. I think certain things happened in a particular order that could not have made the market for Carson Wentz worse, right? Early in the year, we recognized that the Eagles roster was a mash unit again. Draft just belted with injuries and falling apart, most important typically in two places that most directly affect the quarterback without it being the quarterback themselves, the offensive line, and basically decimating the receiver corps. You know, you're throwing the cats out of Old Dominion University, for crap's sake, at the wide receiver position and still competing in games you shouldn't. Now, as it went on, Wentz got worse. Eventually, Jalen Hurts was put in, and the Eagles did that at the right time, in my opinion. But if it was a situation where, let's say, Carson Wentz had played, struggled, bounced back, and finished the year strong, I really think that would have been a completely different market and situation. But give credit to the front office in Indianapolis for working. I think Craig Ballard is the key guy there, working magic on the wires and doing things right and getting a quarterback that has the potential to do amazing things. But why is Wentz less of a risk here? You mentioned already the Matt Rule connection, all that going on. He did enough to get us good production out of Phillip Rivers, okay, at 172 years old. Now, granted, he's still 400 years younger than Thomas Edward Bieber Brady, but what he did in the Colts, listen, losing that playoff game was not on Phillip Rivers, folks. That's what I'm telling you, okay? Mm-hmm. And now you have Quentin Nelson and company on the offensive line, the O-lineman that does judo, for Christ's sake, a defense that can counteract any mistakes Wentz and company may make. I don't know how I feel about their receiver core. T.Y. Hilton is apparently recovering from injury, ? But they're young there, as I understand it. And Jonathan Taylor, while starting slow his rookie year last year, is starting to come around and being a pretty tight back. I think the Colts have an opportunity to be the most balanced team in the NFL. Balanced as far as, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a lot of 50-50 run-pass games from them. And it'll be very interesting to see that if key members of the defense stay healthy throughout the year, they could give the Titans a run for their money playing balanced style offensive football. And unless the Titans do a lot of repairs on defense, which we haven't quite seen yet, the division could change hands next year if Wentz delivers a lot.
Well, you made a point. Okay, so the market for Carson Wentz. There wasn't a market because you know why? The number at Carson Wentz is due based on production doesn't warrant it. When you look at Matthew Stafford and why was Matthew Stafford being traded for first-round picks? Well, the Rams gave up a quarterback in return. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like it was just like a one-and-done situation. Carson Wentz his market was not going to be the same as Deshaun Watson. It wasn't even going to come close.
Oh yeah, and if I applied, it was. Yeah, no.
No. It's not implying. I'm just giving.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm
You're adding context because
yeah,
you
I'm
are
giving
a good
the
analyst. I get you.
it's the context of it. Okay,
Yes.
so Wentz wasn't going to get the Deshaun Watson asking price. That's asinine at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Wentz owed a whole lot of money. All right. So if you think about it, it was only a 2-team market for Carson Wentz. It was the Chicago Bears and it was the Indianapolis Colts. The one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to send Carson Wentz inside your conference either. Because what happens if the Bears make the playoffs and you're in the playoffs as well, and you got to deal with Carson Wentz in the playoffs. Okay.
That's true. All right. Hey, listen. The Karma Fairy has already done enough to decimate the franchise after what they pulled on that game that Bobby Blackjack liked so much that, air quotes, kept the Giants out the playoffs. And it's kind of just tumbled from there, if you believe in that sort of thing.
It's technically that karma when Wentz got the head coach fired in the first place. So technically, he got karma his way out the door. So,
well, yeah. I mean,
to some, this is highway robbery for the Colts. Okay, now if Wentz gets you to the playoffs, that first round pick is not going to mean nothing anyway. All right, that first round pick is the lower part of the first round, and knowing the way the Eagles draft in the first round, it don't do much for them anyway. The real thing is Indianapolis did not lose a first or a second round pick this year. So now with 3 outside linebackers that are potential free agents, on top of the fact of you still can use another wide receiver, you don't need no help on the lines. Your O-line and D-line are solid enough as it is. You actually can go best player available with the first round pick and the second round pick you didn't lose. Okay, like you said, Jonathan Taylor was becoming more serviceable, and don't forget, Naheem Hines did a really good job when Jonathan Taylor had the fumble issues.
You're right.
Okay, they have depth at running back, like you said, Quentin Nelson, that offensive line. Evil Costanzo is still a really, really good offensive line. All right, this is way better than what Carson Wentz had to deal with.
Didn't Costanzo announce retirement?
I'm saying with Costanzo not being available. I mean,
gotcha. That could be another piece they take. You're absolutely right.
I mean, you can rebuild the offensive line, but what Carson Wentz is walking into is the fact that he has actual offensive line. Mm-hmm. Yes, Carson Wentz was complete trash when it came last season to pocket, because he as far as clean pocket goes, he was the worst starting quarterback in the NFL when it came to clean pocket.
Even more than Russell Wilson?
His clean pocket numbers were worse in the NFL last season.
Oh, when he had one, his numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought you were saying he had a clean pocket at least. My bad.
No. I mean, what I'm saying is that, he's going to have a good offensive line, so what he's going to do with it? He actually has decent wide receivers because, like I say, if they bring back T.Y. Hilton, that's one thing. Michael Pittman started to evolve. Listen, I'm saying this. If I'm the Indianapolis Colts, I'm moving up to go get Kyle Pitts from Florida. That's what I'm going to go do with that first round pick. Yeah, the offensive line might need holes, but guess what? I still got cap space. I'm going to go out there and go get Kyle Pitts. He's a big enough target to play tight end or wide receiver. Whatever you want to do it. You need matchup problems. Letting Eric Ebron go, I think Eric Ebron left last year, was a mistake. Okay?
Yeah.
No, even though he has dropsy issues when he was there, he's still a Pro Bowl level tight end that you let walk down the door. Okay, you still got cap space. Potentially, hey, listen, they've already made one deal for an Eagle. Maybe they go after Zach Ertz because the Eagles are going to try to sell him off anyway. It helps the Colts get better. Like to your point, the Colts, a few tweaks away, could be potentially maybe battling Tennessee because we don't know what Tennessee's going to do with that defense and what the whole situation with the number 2 wide receiver is when it comes to next season.
And it's not even that we don't know what they're going to do with the defense, Danny, and I think every Titans person we're tight with, Titans tight with, so to speak, whether it be our good friend, the General Mike Patton or Cortland Griffin. Both, Cortland Griffin, thank you, who write for the 3-point conversion and are often contributors in the comments for this show, but they are actually on the General's Haps account. So check that out too.
After this show, by the way.
Yeah, no, you're here now, stay here, but watch them live. Get them some numbers, throw them some coins. Haps, it's a great thing. Anyways, no, but I think they would both agree that it's not that we don't know what the Titans are going to do, is that they need to do some damn thing.
But the thing is, with no cap space, how does that work?
Well, yeah, that's a different question. But here, before we get too much into the Titans, because I have a feeling there's going to be a topic we come up with later where we'll broach this. Let me go conspiracy theory on you, because what I have found thoroughly entertaining is comments on a recent free agent that just became a free agent in Tampa. Rob Gronkowski is a free agent for the first time in his career. I like the concept that they throw some money at Gronk to bring him in as a tight end, because this accomplishes two things. A, you have a good target for short situations, and B, he can help compensate for missing tackle issues just by standing there, by giving a chip, by having a linebacker think twice because he could break out and catch a pass. Rob Gronkowski is just as good as having a solid, not necessarily a Pro Bowl level guy, but a solid tackle on the side where he lines up. What say you, Danny Tom?
Now, are you saying Gronkowski in Indianapolis?
Yes, I am.
If you said Gronkowski in Tennessee, I would see that only because of the Mike Vrabel connection. I couldn't see Gronk playing anywhere else unless it's with Brady next year in Tampa. I don't. Now, could they go acquire O.J. Howard or Cameron Brate from Tennessee, from Tampa? I think Indianapolis could pull that off.
That's not the same. That's not the same impact, though. I mentioned Gronk specifically because
I get that, but what I'm saying is to fill the tight end spot. You know, Cameron Brate's not a bad blocker. Now, O.J. Howard can block either one of us, but Cameron Brate's actually a better blocker than people give him credit for. I'm not saying he's on Gronk's. I'm not saying he's on Gronk's level because
he's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not Gronk or George Kittle when it comes because George Kittle's really good at blocking. He's not on that level, but I think Cameron Brate's I think he's way above, close to above average blocker at tight end. But, so you can go after one of those guys because they said if Gronk is going to come back, it's only going to be with Brady or even with Vrabel in Tennessee. Yeah, I don't see that either.
I see you saying Vrabel. I don't think Gronk leaves the state of Florida, dude. That's where I'm. I mean, he's not going to the damn Jags either. So.
He ain't going to. I don't think he's going to Miami either. So like I said, I mean, maybe for Flores.
I mean, listen, for Flores maybe, and listen, if somehow or another they find themselves in either the Russell, Carrington, Wilson, or Deshaun Watson sweepstakes.
I mean, but yeah, like I said, you know, Brady brought him back out of retirement. That's another thing. But you know what, though? But Kyle, you did mention an intriguing free agent that was on the market. We didn't get to him last week because he wasn't a free agent last week. The guy behind Kyle, which I think is Kyle's man crush, of course, as always, is one.
Shouldn't he be everybody's?
One J.J. Watt.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mean Watt light bulb. I don't mean JJ from Good Times. We're talking about JJ Watt.
JJ from Good Times. Stop it.
Arguably, I mean, at this point, Kyle, because he's been healthy the last couple of years, is arguably a first ballot Hall of Famer if he never played one more snap right now.
Fair.
JJ Watt is on the market right now. Now, mind you, there have been a few teams that have been linked to JJ Watt, including the Tennessee Titans, including the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Green Bay Packers, are three teams that I've heard interest in JJ Watt because JJ played at Wisconsin, so that's easy. His brothers, they all play for Pittsburgh, so it'd be kind of great to see three brothers playing the same team. I don't think it's ever happened in the NFL, three brothers on one team at the same time. And then there's the Tennessee factor because guess what? Tennessee can use some help on the defensive line, and I think that the respect that J.J. Watt has for Mike Vrabel could be a going factor. And now Tennessee's argument is the fact that they play in the same division as Houston, and J.J. Watt's a man of high character. It is what it is. Kyle, in your heart of hearts, we're going to talk, if for your heart of hearts, if you're J.J. Watt, what's the best spot for you? But then what's the most realistic spot at this point? So in your heart of hearts, if you're going by your heart, where would J.J. Watt end up if you're following the heart trend?
San Francisco.
Okay.
Can you imagine the damage he could do with that group right now, wearing a gold helmet with a red jersey? Oh, hell yeah.
And you'll be the first person buying a jersey the second he signs.
You damn Skippy. Listen, now, when he did his, which by the way, I loved, when he did his statement on Twitter and he's like, hey, I'm doing this myself. I'm not holding a press conference. I'm saying it directly to you. I sent that tweet. My mama ain't even on Twitter, but I shared it to her through a text, her and my wife on a thread, saying, I don't want to hear anything about how somebody doesn't know what to get my butt for Christmas. All right? That's solved. Now, here's the thing. First of all, I'm hearing some trash and nonsense coming out about J.J. Watt in Cleveland. First of all, much respect to our good friend L.A. Broadus. Stop it. If he ends up in Cleveland, first of all, I'm not getting that jersey. And it has nothing to do with the Browns. It's the fact that the jerseys suck. Okay? I ain't trying to wear some white thing with brown letters or something that has a color tone of something that, my kid left in his diaper. Okay? That's not my clothing thing. That's not how I get down. Okay?
Okay.
But basically everywhere else he goes, I would want a Watt jersey. You're correct. Now, where do I think he'll end up? Listen, and I think you saw me say this talking with other members of the three-point conversion. I know that the Steelers have to rework their cap, but they're going to have to do that anyway. So what you're telling me is they won't rework their cap to put themselves in position to get a guy at a portion of what he's worth. By the way, I think he was due like $17 million. That's part of the reason why the Texans are like, yeah, no.
And it wasn't guaranteed anyway, so.
And it wasn't guaranteed. Moreover, why they said, yeah, no, because, hey, now we don't have to, he's overpaid, and now we don't have to pay him at all in the books. Cheers. And hey, maybe if we cut him, Deshaun will follow suit and want to leave out. Or no, wait. No, they're trying to keep Deshaun. Never mind. Which, by the way, the reason why they're keeping Deshaun and not Watt, A, lack of guaranteed money on Watt's part, and B, Watson's a top 5 quarterback in the damn league, and you expect them to just grant his release? Listen, you either want to respect that some of the top quarterbacks in the league right now are black, or you want to respect the fact that they want to hold on to him because of that. It's not because he's black they're not letting him go. I don't know how that became racial, but it did. Getting that out of the way. The piece that I can't get enough of is the Steelers have cap issues that they're going to have to solve for anyway. Why wouldn't they just do a version where they can afford Watt now? There's plenty of corners on that team, Danny Thompson, that are getting paid more than they're worth. That who cutting them actually brings in a revenue fall in their favor, and they could just draft or come up with younger DBs. Bring somebody up.
Or you just do the simple thing is tell Ben Roethlisberger to restructure that contract and take the $40 million capital that's sitting right there.
Well, see, I hear that, but in his age, you've got to notice that Ben Roethlisberger has become a bit of a diva, yes?
Understandable, but at the same time, Ben also
and he drinks like I do.
Yes, but also at the same time, the Steelers could lose Juju Smith-Schuster in the offseason, but Dupree's also in the market as well, too.
That's scary. Yeah, I agree. But
if you want to win in the NFL, the rule of thumb is your quarterback cannot destroy the cap, especially at that age. But Pittsburgh has been Ben's been a soldier for Pittsburgh. It's the fact that you can't. It's the same thing I had with Matt Ryan in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting rid of Matt Ryan because the Falcons aren't the Eagles, and they didn't realize that cap penalty is almost $40 million to trade him, and that's why Falcon fans won't trade. The Falcons will not trade him.
Yeah.
Is the fact that if Roethlisberger wants to win one more Super Bowl, it's perfectly fine. Pittsburgh was undefeated to start the season. All right. They were the last undefeated team in the league. Is what they need now is to be able to provide weapons on both sides of the ball. You have to be able to re-sign Bud Dupree. You have to re-sign Juju Smith-Schuster. Yeah, Juju had his moments last year, but Ben couldn't get the ball down the damn field anyway. All right. So if you're Ben Roethlisberger, you've already made enough money. Would losing, I don't know, he's making $40 million. What going down to $27-28 million to free up $14 million plus to what cap space Pittsburgh had? Because remember, one Pouncey's already retired, so that helps the cap as well too. Maybe that might free up the $18, $19, $20 million all season to be able to pay Dupree, to be able to pay Juju, and bring in Watt to also help that locker room. That's one way of doing it.
I think you let Juju go. Honestly, I think he's. I'm not saying he's an addition by subtraction, but I think he's an expendable asset.
Do you think Chase Claypool's ready to take the number one spot? Because I don't believe in Deontay Johnson. He drops too many damn passes.
Maybe he does. And you know another receiver that dropped a lot of passes in his youth? Jerry Rice. Okay?
Yeah, but
it happens.
But Deontay Johnson's nowhere near. He's not even better than Chad Johnson.
I'm not saying the two are comparable. What I'm saying is even the greatest start out with the dropsies early on. Chase Claypool.
No, I'm not talking Claypool.
I am. Chase Claypool is ready to be Hines Ward 2. Okay?
Okay.
That's where I'm at with him. He's not going to be your top receiver, but he's damn sure going to be your most reliable. He's there.
So to my point, the heart of hearts was J.J. Watt to be reunited with his brothers. That's where my heart of hearts wants him to be. Who doesn't want to play with your brothers, especially when you still can be at an all-pro level? Your brother fullback is an all-pro type of player at fullback, and your brother, the linebacker, is an all-pro linebacker. Arguably, the
only time I've seen two brothers do it quite like that was when the Griffin twins sacked Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs 2 playoffs ago.
Yeah, but the thing is, even with the Griffin twins or the Griffin twins, or even inside of brothers, I don't think there's ever been a time where you have 3 potential all-pro type talents that are brothers on the same team.
Oh, sure.
I think JJ can turn it up and go back and go full-fledged all-pro if he stays healthy.
I agree.
Now, my heart of hearts is saying Pittsburgh, but my football brain is saying he goes to the Packers.
Me too. But football-wise, that makes a ton of sense.
The Packers need him on defense. Listen, JJ's from Wisconsin. You know, he's that type of guy. Packer fans will love him. He will love being back in Green Bay. And guess what? He doesn't have to be the man in Green Bay because Kenny Clark is a phenomenal defensive tackle already. All right. They already have a great rotation. They have Zahir Smith. JJ's not coming in to play 80% of the downs at nose tackle or the defensive tackle, whatever you want to call him in that system. You're asking JJ Watt to basically rush the passer when needed to, be a situational guy and only play 35, 40 snaps a game. And Kyle, you cut that workload down with JJ Watt's motor, that means he's going to last the whole season. And then Watt is wanting to prove that he's still an elite level defensive player. He's not Aaron Donald, but he wants to prove that he's one of the top 5 players defensively at his age through everything he's been through. And Kyle, we both know, and you're a fan, JJ.
I am.
There's going to be nothing worse for opposing pass rushers in the NFC North, a division that you're chasing Jared Goff, what's ever in Chicago, and Kirk Cousins. That's automatically 10 sacks right there.
Let me get this straight. I went to the AFC North, and the only quarterback I don't have to chase is the one that might be mobile and is the best in the division. Check, please. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Baker Mayfield has a little bit of motor and wheels, but I mean, I don't have to deal with Lamar Jackson twice a year.
No. First of all, talking about L-Jack versus Watt, I'd love to see it, but we both know that Watt's gonna, at best, he's gonna send him the other direction so somebody else can get a cleanup sack. You know.
Yeah. But I mean, he'll help because Lamar Jackson won't run the middle all the time either.
Right. All I'll say, you bring up Baker Mayfield, hell, I'm pretty sure Baker Mayfield's going to pee himself. I don't blame him if you're trying to face J.J. Watt.
Exactly.
Shouts to my dude, L.A. Broadus. But, I think if Watt ends up in Green Bay, Danny, one thing that you have to account for, say what you will about Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't strike me as the intangibles guy off the field, right? Go ahead.
Go ahead and finish your point because I think you're going wrong.
J.J. Watt could be that spark where these players could actually have some damn fun playing football again, including one Aaron Charles Rodgers.
And it gives Aaron Rodgers a chance to win a Super Bowl because guess what? One of the holes is on defense. You could actually address and draft offensive player in the first round.
I listen, and what did we both say in the offseason going into this damn season, Danny Thompson? The Packers did nothing to address or improve their offense after getting dominated the way they did by San Francisco. Sure, San Francisco got taken out by the MASH unit, but at the end of the day, it's still the same damn thing that didn't do anything for them to finish the job in the NFC Championship game once again.
Well, Kyle, speaking of doing something and something interesting, let's switch gears up because we can talk football the whole show, but we can't.
Well, we could,
but let's not. All right, let's switch gears up for a second because newsflash. Another baseball player just got paid. This time is San Diego Padres superstar shortstop Fernando Tatis got a 14-year deal worth $340 million. Kyle, to put this in perspective, this might be one of the most hurtful things I will ever say on this show, but I guess I'll have to say it.
Oh, boy.
By the time Fernando Tatis' contract ends, the Mets will stop paying Bobby Bonilla at this point.
Oh, no. They'll have one more month.
No. It ends at the same time. Bonilla's owed 14 more payments.
Oh, okay.
So-
I thought it would have been one more month. My bad.
No, it's one. The end of the 14-year deal, Bobby Bonilla will not be paid any longer by the New York Mets. right.
I'll tell you what. I'll take the word of the Mets fan. I'll put it.
The man with the walking lottery check. All right, so if you look at what the San Diego Padres done, Kyle, in the last 2 years, is that their left side of the infield, which is shortstop and third base for those who don't watch baseball, have two $300 million contracts. Saw a great thing on Twitter the other day. It says, if I'm paying these two guys $640 million, there better not be a damn error on the field.
I like that.
Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis signed for $640 million. Kyle, put that in perspective. Pat Mahomes makes $500 million. Those two combined are at $640.
Jesus.
Happy trails. And speaking of New York Mets, is Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow officially retired from baseball yesterday after hitting a grand total of 18 home runs in 3 seasons for the Mets.
Is it okay that Tim Tebow was my favorite baseball player right now?
I mean, listen, he batted .223 for his career for the Mets. He got to AAA. This was a publicity stunt that didn't get to the majors. I'm just glad it didn't, because the Mets would have been a laughing stock worse than what we've been over the last few years.
Even more than they already are?
No, stop it. There'll be no damn Mets slander on this show except for me. And Bobby, I better not see you popping that screen. If I see a 3-person screen come up, no, I'm going to mute you.
He's not popping that screen. He's too busy laughing at what I just said.
Yeah. I'm talking to you, Willis. All right. Also, spring training pitchers and catchers report for baseball seasons. Hopefully, this thing will get started in the NFL soon.
Yes,
and
sir.
I know Bobby had the timeline. Will Tim Tebow return to the NFL? Yeah, right.
Well, if he returns, Danny Thompson, don't rule out Tim Tebow, the quarterback coach.
Okay. Coach, yes. Tim Tebow, the player, you got a better chance of Colin. Listen, if Tebow's coming back as a quarterback, so is Colin Kaepernick. All right, so
damn.
What?
What do you
Tell
mean?
me.
What? You heard you.
I wasn't wrong either. Speaking of things that gotten wrong, NBA fans are going to be kind of upset because the All-Star voting and the All-Star stars were announced tonight. Yay! We have an All-Star game that LeBron James and company don't want to be there. Kyle, you know it's pretty bad when players don't want to be there, and the mayor of Atlanta says, stay away.
Seriously.
Mayor Keisha Bottoms basically said, Keisha Lance Bottoms basically said, Atlanta is not a party zone. In so many words, keep your ass at home. Okay? This is a made-for-TV event. In the most microwaved All-Star weekends in the history of basketball, Kyle.
Microwave.
We're getting on the first Sunday in March, the first full session, I think it's March 9th. We're getting an NBA All-Star game, Kyle, that has everything going on in one day, reminding me of the 1980s All-Star game. Everything will start at 5 p.m. with the 3-point competition and the skills competition starting at 6:30. The game will start at 8, and the slam dunk contest will be during halftime. So that means Chris Birdman Anderson will not be involved in the dunk contest because we don't want nobody missing dunks.
Oh, boy.
The stars were announced tonight. Tonight, Kyle, and also they're bringing back some of the things that made the All-Star game popular. We will have backyard basketball again this year, as we have 2 captains. Eastern Conference captain was the guy leading the vote total in the Eastern Conference was Kevin Durant. He had over 5 million votes for him. The only player in the Eastern Conference with 5 million votes. The other starters in the Eastern Conference, Kyle, along with Captain Kevin Durant, will be Giannis, of course, on Antetokounmpo. Yes, I'm hungry, so his last name will get butchered.
And Kupo?
Yes, him too. And Joel Embiid will be the starting front court, voted on by the fans. Bradley Beal and Kyrie Irving will be the backcourt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kyrie. Appreciate it, Kyrie. Much love to you. All right, so that's going to be the starters in the Eastern Conference voted on by the fans. And also, it wasn't 100% fan voting. So let's get this out the way. The fans control 50% of the votes. The media has 30% of the votes, and then the players have 20%. Okay, we can't let players vote because we've seen years in the All-Star game where guys that weren't even on rosters got votes from players. And you talking about fan voting's a joke? The damn player voting's worse than the damn fan voting. I'm going to tell you right now.
Listen, I'm just here drinking my beer, partner.
Exactly. In the Western Conference had 2 players with over 5 million votes, but LeBron James will be the captain once again. LeBron's been a captain every year we've done this All-Star game.
Shouldn't he be?
I mean, well, but he had the highest fan vote. So
I mean that, and he's practically the GM for all the teams he plays for anyway. So F it, right?
Listen, the only time LeBron James has been a GM is during the All-Star game. The rest of the times you can't confirm. Okay, we can't confirm it.
You can't confirm. Shut up, Danny Thompson.
Listen, he wasn't confirmed.
Listen, just because his name's not Jerry Krause doesn't mean he's not a GM.
Don't worry, Steph Curry. You're back in the All-Star game as well, too, because you were the 3rd player to get 5 million votes, and you'll be starting in the backcourt. Now,
don't worry. Nobody will judge the fact that you won't score a single point in the 4th quarter. I mean, what?
No, no. The Elam endings have been different. But the other star in the backcourt, actually, it was a tie, Kyle. Dallas's Luka Doncic and Portland's Damian Lillard had tied with the number of votes and how the point total was calculated at the guard position. But Luka Doncic will be starting in the All-Star game because Luka did win the fan votes. So you're going to have Curry and Doncic in the backcourt, LeBron, Nikola Jokic, and Kawhi Leonard, who overtook Anthony Davis, will be also in the front court. AKA, thank you, fans, for getting it right, because Anthony Davis wasn't playing in the All-Star game anyway.
Right.
All right. So we don't want the commissioner having to make a choice on who is going to be replacing Anthony Davis.
But I mean, wouldn't the commissioner have done that same choice anyway? I mean, hell, even my budding basketball analysis would have done that same shiz.
Well, I think for me is that to make sure we have the 10 players who are healthy already announced and good to go, without having to worry about substitutions or anything else. I think we're good to go. Fair. The Western Conference coach or whatever coach team LeBron's going to be on, I think it'll be Quinn Snyder of the Utah Jazz, while Doc Rivers will coach the Eastern Conference team, otherwise known as Team Kevin Durant. All right. The reserves will be renamed next week, and Kyle, of course, there's going to be snubs, everything everywhere. We'll talk about the snubs everywhere, but the good news is I think the NBA got 9 of the 10 players right. I think Damian Lillard and or Donovan Mitchell can give Luka Doncic the run for the money on the other side. And I understand people want to talk about James Harden over Kyrie Irving. Here, listen, James Harden got here halfway through the season. All right, he was an all-star, but listen, even though Kyrie took time off for personal reasons, at least he was still part of the team. They had to acquire Harden weeks later, so I think they got it right. Kyle, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you. Like, this was an easier one for me to analyze, because there's normally something I can be like, listen, stop with the snub trash. But in this case, like, no, I think they got it right. And I want to have a point. I have argued with you on basketball before. I have made amazing predictions in the playoffs and the bubble. We were here for that. But I got a whole bag of nothing. I think they got it right.
Speaking of things Kyle, since you said you don't have anything for it, here's something you do have for it.
Okay.
In the world of UCF, there have been some major changes over at UCF for the last couple of days. Kyle,
you and your damn segues, Danny Thompson. Anyway.
Hey, listen, we went from basketball that you told me alley-oops to letting you control the football here, as we saw Nitro do this dance earlier.
But damn, that doesn't mean you have to block for the screen. But I'll take it. Go ahead.
Listen. I'll block for you. I'll listen. I will be your Kyle Juszczyk on this one.
Yes, Juszczyk drop.
UCF went out and hired a brand new head coach and a brand new defensive coordinator in the last 72 hours, Kyle. So you had mentioned all along that Gus Malzahn was a leading candidate for this job. You mentioned how this is kind of like the stepping stone. When you heard Gus Malzahn's name being hired as head coach, what was your first impressions with Gus?
Like, it was one of those, son of a beep, they actually did it. I'll put it this way. I'm a Danny White guy. I've written more than one article in support of Danny White. Granted, I wasn't with the 3-point conversion yet. I was still with my previous outlet, but I am more than happy to provide the article for those who want it. But the punchline is, Danny White rose all ties, all sports got better. Then Terry Mohaji came in, and he's doing his thing. And then all of a sudden, you see Gus Malzahn jump in, and I'm thinking, holy crap. This is something that somebody who has a position currently in the CFP committee can pull off. Forget the football at this point, okay? we can put a pin in the map right here. This was the day that a school in the G5 stole the biggest name to this point from the P5 to coach a program, right? Previously, we've heard of, the Charlie Strongs, the Lane Kiffins, the Dana Holgersons, all that. This Gus Malzahn hiring is something different, and it's something special. At this point in time, you expect guys to say and do the right things, but what's unique with Gus Malzahn that I've heard from him and not others in the past, including Scott Frost, over and above Josh Heupel, is an energy and a belief and something different that the other guys didn't have. Scott Frost, Josh Heupel were both starting their coaching careers, Danny Thompson.
Okay.
This is Gus Malzahn in his twilight. He's got his time in the Power Five. He built being a top level SEC coach, objectively the best conference in college football. At me all you want. Your arguments probably suck. The SEC is premier in football. And you got a guy who's doing that. You want to know the last time that I can remember immediately that something like that happened? When Urban Meyer went to Ohio State. And what happened then? That program got better. That conference, the Big Ten, which doesn't even have 10 teams right now, got better.
Which is weird. And the Big 12 don't have 10 teams either.
Yeah, I know. It's some effed up stuff. But the punchline is this, my good friend. What Gus Malzahn has the potential to do, in his words, I always thought that it was about the right guy going there, UCF, and staying there to build it. I have decided that I am that guy.
Okay. Now, Kyle, here's a question. Now, what UCF has established over the last, I'd say, 5 to 7 years is a program that is extremely fun to watch. Yeah. We watched it from, the peak, of course, was Scott Frost's offense and how it was at peak. And even Josh Heupel, up into the majority of last season, the offense was super explosive. Okay. Yeah. Now, Gus Malzahn coached in the SEC.
Right.
His offenses were explosive, but they weren't UCF explosive, if that makes sense. Kyle, do we see Malzahn kind of stay away from the fast-paced offense that has made UCF a nationally known for something they've been known for the last 5 to 7 years? Or do you think that he kind of continues what he builds off what they already have established?
I think what he does is he takes that fast-paced offense, but doesn't make it just a gimmick. Something that UCF has struggled with on the field is even when they're up huge in games, right? Mm-hmm. The games that they lost, save for the bowl game, the Boca Bowl against BYU and Hall of Fame dark horse Zach Wilson, which, by the way, do not draft him in the first round.
Atlanta.
I was thinking of the Jets, but yeah, you're not wrong either, Panda. Oh, actually, well, I'll touch on Atlanta at a later juncture because I don't think they'll start him immediately. So that's why it's okay, but I digress. Breathe. I know who you want. It's okay. Just breathe, Danny Thompson. We can talk about it later. Remember, we're not talking NFL right now. We still got Mount Rushmore. Damn it, let me get here. So, but the thing that's interesting is I do believe there's one major reason why they do have to run fast-paced offense is because their O-line is relatively depleted and their top weapons currently do that best, right? There's going to have to be some element of that. What I think he will do different than the Josh Heupels and the Scott Frost and more particularly the Josh Heupels is to slow it down. Heupel is aggressive and he has been aggressive. And it's funny, when he got there early and he came back to beat Memphis on multiple occasions, fans didn't have a problem with it. This year, when his gambles sometimes came up snake eyes a lot more often than they had in the past, the fans got all pissed off, right? In this case, I expect Gus Malzahn to have that in his game, but I also expect it to be a little less aggressive, and I don't think it relies just on the deep ball. Dylan Gabriel can run, okay? The fans are convinced he can't. It's some of the dumbest ish on social media I've ever seen. Well, Dylan Gabriel doesn't run as good as Mackenzie Milton. Dummies. Mackenzie Milton never had this many receivers that could run down the field that fast at the same time. That's a fact. Say what you will about Gabe Davis. He wasn't catching the ball that good when he was still paired with Traquan Smith. He had to get better before that was a viable threat. Okay? Throw that out there. Then he had Gabe Davis. Marlon Williams was still developing. He wasn't that guy yet. Then they had Marlon Williams and Jay Flash on the opposite side. Now they got something. Gus Malzahn can't get away from it immediately. There may be a slow transition, but don't expect him to run in that typical boring SEC offense either that comes out in an I formation and a quarterback that plays play action every now and again.
And that's what I concern myself with, because UCF is, especially in the state of Florida, one of the statements that Gus had mentioned in his press conference, we'll get to his defense in a second, was the fact that he's going to recruit the state of Florida like it's on fire.
Mm-hmm. Like his hair is on fire, end quote.
Yes. So with that being said, we all know Florida recruits are all about speed. And guess what? More speed.
Sure.
So Kyle, does that mean if you're going to recruit, because that's what made Scott Frost's team successful, because they were faster than everybody in the American Conference. Okay. They might not have had the same talent as like the Memphis or the Houstons or the other schools in the conference. The problem was you couldn't catch them. Okay. 9 times out of 10, try to catch Adrian Killings in a foot race. And it happened most times. All right.
The thing you're leaving out with that, Danny Thompson, is back in those days, they still had very solid offensive linemen. The artist of this painting behind me blocked 3 human beings on one play to give Otis Anderson one of the best touchdowns I've ever seen.
I mean, also, you got to think they also have an offensive lineman that's now in the WWE.
Yeah, exactly. No, Parker McGrow is somebody who was one of their top offensive linemen, and he's gone too.
Yeah, I mean, baby Brock Lesnar is about to head to the WWE.
Baby Brock.
Don't you like there's like a baby Brock Lesnar, like Brock Lesnar had? Yeah.
No. I'm not laughing at you because every time I hear that, I laugh because I get it. You know.
Exactly. Speaking of things to get before we get into Mount Rushmore, listen, last night, Kyle. Oh, you know what? Let's talk about. Let's talk UCF. Talk about the defensive coordinator.
Yes.
Tyron Williams, I think it is.
Travis.
Excuse me. Yeah.
T. Will, man, listen. I sat in on that press conference. This is a man that bubbles energy. Okay. You could tell without looking that this young man, I can call him young man. That's how young he is, and that's how much energy he has. And I'm not saying that to slight him. But you talk about speed in the state of Florida. Danny Thompson, I have to remind you that speed kills on defense as well. Mm-hmm. And frankly, that's what they need. They have a lot of young guys that are doing a lot of great things, and maybe they're already fast, but they're losing 3 guys to the draft this year. Richie Grant, Aaron Robinson, and Tay Gowan.
I love Richard Grant the second. I love Richard Grant in the second round, by the way.
Hi,
Atlanta.
Hi, Atlanta.
Hi, Atlanta. Hi, Atlanta. We cut safe. We cut Ricardo Allen. Hi, Atlanta. But continue.
You trying to say something there, Danny Thompson? You trying to nudge a little? Hey guys. Oh.
But continue.
So to all that being said, man, it's my belief that speed goes on the defensive side as well, right? They need to revamp defensive line as well. They need to revamp the secondary. Don't think that going to the state of – you can have speed, but it can still be surgical. That's what I'll say about it.
Okay. And Kyle, before we try to transition to Mount Rushmore, because I think this is kind of the best way of doing this. Last night, in arguably one of them, it kind of snuck up on me how it happened last night. Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka had an outstanding tennis match last night. Yes, Naomi won in straight sets last night against Serena Williams in the Australia Open semifinals last night in Melbourne, which is kind of 10 o'clock Eastern time. It was the middle of the day out in Australia. Guess what? Australia's got it right, because if you saw the crowd yesterday, it was about 25,000 and nobody was wearing masks.
Well, no, I mean, they put a lid on COVID on the rookie tip.
Listen, all I'm saying is they had 25,000 fans with no mask on here, and Naomi's over there signing autographs at the end of the match last night. The win last night by Osaka, because she overpowered Serena in the majority of the matches. Serena got frustrated. It's not been announced as the end of Serena Williams and playing in the Australia Open, but it is kind of the changing of the guard in some ways. Serena Williams is arguably one of the, if not the most dominant athlete in his or her sports in the history of sports. The most dominant. 23 Grand Slam titles. It's kind of, you play 4 times a year. She's had the Serena Slam. She's arguably one of the most dominant players. And Kyle, this leads kind of into my Mount Rushmore tonight. With Thomas Edward Bieber Brady potentially retiring, I don't know if he's going to retire, but at some point in time, Tom Brady, who is considered the most dominant quarterback in the history of the NFL, is kind of stepping aside. Serena Williams, I think she's almost 40. She says she's not giving up. And I think that, listen, her best chance of beating Osaka is going to have to be Wimbledon, because I don't know if she's going to win the French Open. And if they have to play at hard court again in New York and in the U.S. Open, Naomi's just too powerful at this point.
I think if it's anybody but her, Serena wins. Like, I think it's just her. Even in her youth, she gave Serena fits.
I mean, here's the crazy part. Now, this was Miss Serena 10 years ago. This is a different type of match. But like you said, the only way that Serena can get to winning number 24 is someone's going to have to be Osaka. Or the fact of they're going to have to get to a Grand Slam final where it's not the semifinals. But Kyle, this kind of leads to Mount Rushmore tonight. Kyle, as sports always transitions. We always go from, this dominant athlete to the next one. So, Kyle, who is your Mount Rushmore of the future most dominant athletes in sports?
Damn. That's depth, bro. And this is the one you hand me when we got listen.
Listen. We kind of, Bobby owns the network. He lets us go over. So continue.
That's true. The Mount Rushmore of the future great athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Okay. Give me some.
So Kyle, so here's the thing. We talk about how Usain Bolt dominated track and field.
Right.
We talk about, so a lot of people don't give her credit, but Simone Biles to me is the most dominant athlete in any sport, even more dominant than Serena Williams.
Right.
Because if you get penalized for creating moves that only you can do, and they penalize you for it,
listen,
that's pretty damn dominant.
Simone, that's amazing. But people want people to try to kill themselves imitating that.
But that's the problem. They drop points for those moves. There's like 5 or 6. I think she has 11 moves, 11 different things that she does, and all the different. And now, mind you, gymnastics is a beast of a sport, by the way.
Indeed.
But I think it's like 9 or 10 or 11 things that she does that she gets docked for because nobody else can do it.
Which is stupid, by the way.
Kyle, we talk about domination in sports. Like I said, we know LeBron James in the NBA. Yeah, he is 4-6 in championships, but listen, LeBron James is arguably one of the most dominant athletes because he always gets to the finals. We talk about Tom Brady. We said Serena Williams. Talk about this is the last year for Simone Biles in the Olympics in Tokyo because most gymnasts don't go past 25 anyway. So her time is up. We said Michael Phelps was dominant in swimming at one point.
Yeah,
Usain Bolt was dominant in track and field. So Kyle, as we look to the next generation, the next 10 to 15 years, Kyle, let's play crystal ball here. Who's the most dominant, or who could potentially be GOAT level? It doesn't matter the sport at this point. I'll let you go this one.
First of all, I have to open with the guy who's been given $500 million with the concept that somebody's betting he's doing that. Patrick LeVon Mahomes II, your dude, right? How do we not put him on this list? Okay. Now, I'll see that, and I'll also raise you this. These got a lot of this is a guy who's been given a lot of hype, and really the last time there was a guy that came out that got hype like this was Andrew Luck.
Okay.
Somebody's got to give Bobby's dude sunshine, Trevor Lawrence. a shot. Sure, he
Okay.
hasn't played it down yet, but I think he's certainly worthy of mention here at this juncture. I'm going to go out on another limb. Another team already has, but one wonders how one follows up Dirk Nowitzki. Luka Doncic is a guy that might actually be capable of doing that.
Okay.
Right? Holy crap. I mean, granted, he's not, as tall as Dirk, but damn. And while he's not exactly what we would have hoped yet with what he's doing, at least marketing-wise, I'm going to go Zion here because he's already amassed a small empire, and for what his body type is and what he could be, that's going to be pretty amazing. The only reason why I don't have L-Jack on this list is because he's going to be held back by a lot of things that aren't his fault. For one, he doesn't have weapons, and I don't know how he's going to get them. Two, he plays in a really difficult division. That's not his fault. Whereas Trevor Lawrence, let's put it this way. If he does good at his sophomore year in the NFL, he could win the AFC South. And I don't see anybody out west battling Patrick LaVon Mahomes II for divisional titles out in the west of the AFC. Dan Thompson?
Bobby, are you there, my friend? I know he's popped in with just saying no. Bobby, our good friend Bobby Blackjack of New Jersey.
You can't say Kyrie Irving.
Well, you stole my thunder with Zion.
Okay, don't know who you got. It's not really stealing thunder. Who you got, Bobby?
All right, I got one. Hold on, let me set him up first. He is the future great member of the Jason Dominguez, the superstar to be, who right now scouts say is more advanced at his age right now than Mike Trout was. The next Mickey Mantle, Jason Dominguez.
Okay, that's two. So you got Zion, Jason Dominguez. Who's the other two?
You want to go with Sunshine, Bobby? Just admit it.
No. I have Big Bird on the bus side of things.
I know it's not Ian Book.
Not Ian Book. You know what? I think there's something special, and I hate to say this because I totally hate his university and his head coach, but I think Devonta Smith is gonna do something wonders in the NFL.
Okay. All right, that's three.
I think he's gonna. I think there's something about him that he's overcome the size his whole life, and it's gonna continue in the NFL. That's all I have right now. Actually, it's a tough one.
Okay, so
it was a strong one tonight, Danny.
Exactly. We gotta go strong every once in a while. Can't all be food all the time. All right, so here's my idea of the Mount Rushmore of what's going on. I think you couldn't go wrong with Patrick Mahomes being on this list. Okay, I mean the $500 million man is the reason why that people watch football. He's the Steph Curry of football. He's made football fun, entertaining, and exciting, and he's worth $500 million. The second guy on my list is the guy that got $340 million from the Padres yesterday. Listen, Fernando Tatis Jr. is not just fun. He doesn't play by the rules. I mean, the man got thrown at in the playoffs because guess what? He was taunting after home runs. He slides hard into second base. He breaks up double plays. He celebrates with his teammates, and guess what? When Gatorade tabs you as one of your next athletes, that's something special. Tatis he's already better than his dad already. When year number 3, his dad was a really good baseball player, Fernando Tatis.
But does he overcome playing for the Padres? That'd be my question.
I mean, listen, I think in baseball, Mike Trout's the best player in baseball, but he's in Anaheim. All right. The baseball market in baseball is the only sport that doesn't matter in. If you're a good baseball player, because nobody pays attention to baseball anyway in the majority of the United States, except unless it's the playoffs. No offense, because baseball has no marketing plan. You have the idea of you could be a superstar anywhere. So with Tatis for the next 14 years in San Diego, sorry, Bobby, he ain't coming to New York. All right. listen, we're talking basketball. We talk on the NBA side of things, and who is the guy in the NBA is next? Well, it's not the guy who's in the NBA. It's the guy that's headed to the NBA is next. Amani Bates is the National High School Player of the Year and did it as a freshman. I think a freshman and sophomore, and I think it's junior high school.
You mentioned this guy.
Amani Bates is the next coming of Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett and Kevin Durant. He's 6'9", almost 6'10", as a quote unquote junior in high school. He's going to reclassify and potentially be in the G League next year. He is the reason why the NBA is considering letting high school players come back into the league. All right. There hasn't been anybody that this good, this fast, this size since one LeBron James. He's the most sought after and most talented high school player I have ever seen. If you go watch any of his game tapes, the guy just literally gets buckets. He has handles, he has range. Like I said, Bobby, just imagine Kevin Durant at 19 years old with Kevin Garnett's mean streak. It's scary. He committed to Michigan State. Air quotes. All right. I was going to think about Alexis Lafreniere for the New York Rangers for the 4th spot, but he hasn't really done much to impress me for the Rangers this year. He's the number 1 overall pick in the Rangers. So guess what? I'm gonna have
How about Jack Hughes?
You know what? Hughes is solid, but I don't see him being that guy to say, okay, when you're thinking domination, you're thinking how Sidney Crosby came in the league, Alex Ovechkin. Like, you go back, when you think of hockey and domination, you're thinking literally Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux in the 80s, Mark Messier. You're not going to find that type of domination in any of these guys because the game of NHL has changed so much. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to flip it right back around. I'm going to go back to a sport I've already been to before. Listen, you mentioned Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a really good pro. And Kyle, you mentioned Luka Doncic.
I did.
I think the next coming of a superstar in this league, in the NBA right now, and the next guy that can be dominant, as long as he keeps his head on straight and keeps the people detracting him and keeping everybody around him and just staying in the bubble he's at, is Charlotte Hornets guard LaMelo Ball.
Okay, that is not where I thought you were going.
Curveball.
It is a curveball. LaMelo Ball has all the talent in the world. I've been saying this since all the Ball brothers were in high school. He's
actually.
He's the best of the Ball brothers. Baby Ball is going to be the best of the Ball brothers. The only drawback to him right now, he's arguably the smallest market in the NBA in Charlotte. He has 4 million followers everywhere. So what? He wasn't voted to the All-Star game. It is what it is. But LaMelo Ball is a walking Sports Center highlight every single night. It's something he does in the court. He smiles. He has a great personality. He has a great feel for the game. It's like watching a combination of Jason Kidd and Magic Johnson at the same time.
I can't picture that.
Because when LaMelo Ball grabs a rebound, he's flying down the court. The only thing that keeps him away from being superly dominant is that he forgets to work on his craft. He has the potential because he's different. Yes, I know, Bobby. He has tremendous court vision, and guess what? His 3-point shot is getting better and better. People have to respect it. Once you're 6'9", 6'8", and 6'9", he's still growing, by the way, and you have a 3-point shot, and you have handles, and you have court vision that's unreal. Just think of Ben Simmons with a jump shot. We always talk about if Ben Simmons had a jump shot, and he did this, and how dominant he would be. LaMelo Ball he leads the NBA, Kyle, in all rookies in points, rebounds, assists, steals. All 4 categories already.
Yeah, that's 4.
He leads them in all 4. Ain't close. All right. This is just year number 1. Imagine when he gets a full year of a training camp and a full year of being around NBA people for a full year. I just worry because of the small market theory and everybody wants to run to New York. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If LaMelo Ball becomes a free agent in the next 3-4 years and Michael Jordan can't keep him, something tells me because he's got that Puma deal that he's going to be a Brooklyn Net. And Bobby's going to end up with a LaMelo Ball jersey sitting next to Terry the Hair up there at Seton Hall. So, like I said, I wanted to go hockey with the 4th one. But maybe the Olympics might change my mind when it comes to the next dominant athlete as well too. So
I agree. I see what Vince says in the comments here, but I mean that's basically the point of the topic is somebody who could be that guy in 1 or 2 years.
yeah, I mean I think Amani Bates is going to come in. I mean, hell, they're talking about he might even skip the G League. But Bobby, before we go, any shout-outs, my friend? Also, big shout-outs to Vincent, a new member of the I-95 family, commented from the YouTube side of things. Check out his show coming soon to the I-95 network. Welcome
Actually,
to the family.
Vincent, well, he will get his own show, but Vincent right now is helping me out with some live streaming here in New Jersey.
That's what's up.
He's one of our newest live streamers doing some high school for us. Welcome, Vincent.
Oh my goodness.
What?
That entrance was so precious. He's got a new hello graphic. Bobby Blackjack, everybody.
I mean, she poked her head in the room, so she might as well say hi. So
No, it was brilliant. Big fan. I'm knocked over.
normally she'll speak in the. Normally, my fiance will speak in the comment section or her usual "hello, fellas." So she decides tonight she was coming to say hello on the actual.
She came in looking like the work of art she always does. I get it. Look, I can keep showering her with compliments, but you only have so much time on the show, Danny Thompson.
Listen, I know. I mean, she's my fiance for a reason. So of course.
Bingo.
But Bobby, before we go, any shout outs, my friend?
Well, I don't have a shout out, but as you've seen this week, just another rest in peace to our boy Mikey Briggsy, one of the original broadcasters of I-95 Sports Network. Unfortunately, lost his life suddenly last weekend, and we'll continue to tribute his memory. A lot of the stuff that we do now on 95 was because he helped me do that 4, 5, 6 years ago. So rest in peace, Mike.
You know, I didn't have a chance to meet Mike personally. Bobby spoke about Briggsy for the longest time. He had show Briggsy on sports, I think, for a good while on the I-95 network. One of the pillars of this network, as Bobby mentioned before, and I know for Bobby, it was like a family member to him. And, you know, for this, anytime a person's like family to Bobby is like family to me as well, too. So my prayers and everything goes to his family. You know, and we just, you know, it doesn't bring a good part to the year, especially when it hits close to home. But yeah, I know Bobby's, you can tell by Bobby's face, has been affecting him all week. So we had to give Bobby, we had to make sure we get Briggsy his time on the show as well too. So Kyle, anything before we go?
Well, looks like Chad Wheeler has his trial in June. Let's get his butt in jail.
Well, that was a great segue. And so big shout out to everybody in the chat site. I know people were wondering, where's Cortland and Mike? Because they stopped by tonight. They had their show on Haps TV, and please, by all means, support Mike and Cortland on our Haps. They're talking about the AFC South as Mike does every Thursday night. They can go a little bit deep. They're going in deeper to what me and Kyle talked about with the division, because Mike covers that division very, very, very closely for 3pointconversion.com.
Yes.
Big shouts to everybody in the chat as well too. Like I said, Vincent, welcome to the family, my friend. He mentioned about Justin Jefferson. Yeah, but DeAndre Swift don't catch passes against the Bears in 4 quarters of games that cost victories.
Ooh,
that was 1 week. That was week 1, wasn't it?
It would have kept the Bears out of the damn playoffs.
Justin Jefferson's going to be a great player at the end of the day. I think what will stop him, he's an honorable mention. I think what will stop him is the quarterback that throws him the ball at the end of the day.
Listen, the quarterback got him the ball. I mean, I think what's going to happen is can he live up in year 2 and year 3? Because what he did in year 1 was almost like elite level rookie first year wide receiver number 3. How can you better that in year 2? It's hard. It's easy to have a good year and then have an elite year number 2, but to have an elite year number 1, how do you be better than that in year 2? If he can somehow top year 1, I think Vincent might be spot on with this one.
I don't think he has to top it. I think he just has to meet or be near it. And I mean, Adam Thielen at the end of the day is still on the other side. That'll help.
When I say match, I mean, what I'm saying is you might want to bring something different to your game that wasn't part of it. I mean, the numbers might be equal, but you got to do something different on the field. Look who finally showed up. Like Trevor Lawrence's shoulder injury.
Trevor. So boy. Stop.
Listen,
Kyle's clean shaven there. I mean,
no. All I'm saying, facially challenged. Listen, no, he wasn't about facial hair, Bobby. He wasn't about facial hair. Listen, Rodney showed up like the convenience of a Trevor Lawrence shoulder injury. That's all I'm saying, because we hear about the shoulder injury all year until
It was
after.
his non-throwing shoulder, you big wuss.
He heard it while he heard about stirring Kool-Aid. All right. Also big shout outs to everybody, like I said, who liked, shared, and tagged the post as well, to the show as well too. Appreciate everybody stopping through tonight. Also big shout outs, like I said, to Kyle, and also Bobby, just for doing the show every single week, and like I said, to everybody in the listening audience as well. So we'll be back. And also shout out to my fiance for actually for stopping through. I didn't think she was coming through tonight. Hi. As I'm about to go eat dinner, by the way. So
Nice.
but no, like I said, big shouts to everybody in the group. Like I said, check out my NBA show tomorrow because the Hornets are still off due to COVID.
Sunshine is amazing.
Yeah, sunshine is amazing because North Carolina, we damn sure ain't got any right now. All right.
No.
tell me about it.
It's like 30 degrees. It's like, Kyle, it was disrespectful 34 today, okay?
Listen, I hear what you're saying. There's no way I could possibly relate.
I can't stand you right now.
I'm just telling the truth.
So for myself, Bobby, and everybody, and Kyle, and everybody in the whole crew, I am Danny Thompson. You guys stay safe this weekend. Enjoy it. And we'll see you guys on Thursday for Beyond the Buzzer. Appreciate you guys. Peace.